Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I'm now being joined on the program by the Senate Committee Chairman on Health, Senator Ibrahim Oloriegbe, and also Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf, a member of the House of Representatives. Both of them are in our Abuja studio. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on tonight. Let's begin this conversation on the issues of palliatives. It does look like the National Assembly leadership are not happy. But from the office of the President's Advisor on Social Investment, Miriam Uwais, she sent out a 5-page release debunking some of the things that the leadership of the National Assembly has said, saying that some of them are not true. Let's begin this conversation on Senator Oloriegbe about the palliatives. So far, you're a medical doctor. First and foremost, let's get your thoughts on the medical expert that came from China. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the briefings I have, they are not medical experts per se in terms of experts coming to provide treatment or when you say support. The briefings I had, which was sent to me by the Minister of Health, read that the Chinese company, CCC, as part of social responsibility, is providing materials worth 100,000 US dollar with some medical personnel that will come to install some of those equipment and provide basic training on the use of the equipment. As far as I'm concerned, and as a medical doctor in Nigeria who has been in the sector for the past 35 years, Nigeria is one of the countries with very good, skillful, and competent personnel. Besides, as far as this intervention is concerned, so far it's been good. If you look at the treatment protocols, you look at our response, even the World Health Organization has commended the country. So to me, I don't think any expert is coming to be able to now provide intervention, but rather, just like it's happening all over the world, even the biggest country in the world, America, is receiving support of medical equipment and materials, even from China and from elsewhere, because there's a global shortage of such. And that assistance we need. But the emphasis that is given as if the experts are coming to be able to teach the Nigerian medical personnel on how to handle the pandemic is wrong and it's not correct, and I'm not in support of that. And that's why the official briefing did not say, so when they're talking, I think the way it is coined, as if the Chinese are coming to teach us or provide us with expertise. Yes, China has responded, but I must also say that based on my interaction both with the ministry and even with the medical association who has made the response, the situations are different. It's not the same all over the world. The epidemic's behavior, I mean, the coronavirus is a novel virus, which has not been studied greatly. It just emerging. So what has happened in various climes is quite different. What is happening in Nigeria is different from what has happened in China or what has happened in Europe and America. There may be some similarities. But for example, I've been watching the epidemics in Nigeria. We don't know the level of virulence. But if you see that based on the containment and the suppression activities we are doing now, community transmission is still quite low. As at yesterday, the release by NCDC showed of the 254 cases, about 36% are direct people that came from abroad, and another 25 countries. It may not be similar in China. So as such, my position, and I think that's the position of my committee, is that it's not that expertise are coming, but because they are providing us with some materials and equipment, they have to provide this. The second thing is this. We discuss it. We have our national regulation and rules. No any other medically qualified person outside this country can practice here without the approval of the regulatory bodies. If you're a doctor, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria must give you the permission and approval based on the assessment of your qualification. If you're a nurse, Nursing and Midwifery Council must do that. If you're a laboratory scientist, the Medical Laboratory Council is there. So these are things that are there. So there's no any expertise that will come and practice here without all those ones. So the Chinese are
Senator
not here.
Oloriegbe, apologies if I'm a button.
As scientists, they may provide us.
Yeah, because from the Chinese ambassador, just a moment. All right, just a moment, Senator Oloriegbe. The Chinese ambassador said that the medical team from China will be assisting in containing the virus, and they have expertise in infectious disease, respiratory illnesses, cardiology, and intensive care. Are you concerned that the Nigerian Medical Association, for example, as a leading medical body in Nigeria, has raised concern and has raised a red flag, has raised concern, and has raised a red flag about help from China?
I'm very much concerned, and I think our position is no. What you said, the ambassador has said, is different from what officially the Minister of Health submitted to me. Because when the issue came up, as the chairman of health committee, I interfaced with the medical association at their part and with the Federal Minister of Health. And the minister sent me the document. And that document did not say all this, you are saying, infectious expert, respiratory expert. I don't think we need that, and I don't think we'll accept that. And that is not acceptable as a lawmaker, as a medical practitioner, and somebody that has been within the profession and that has actively practiced in it. Our law does not permit that. I mean, no expert can come and say but what I can say that could happen is that scientists all over the world, we have exchange of ideas. Even before now, the head of NCDC in Nigeria had been taken as part of the global scientists by WHO to China.
Senator Oloriegbe, let's get Honorable Yusuf. Let's get Honorable Yusuf into the conversation, and let me get his view as a member of the Green Chamber. Honorable Yusuf, what is your thought, or what do you think about the Chinese giving Nigeria help in these areas that I've mentioned earlier?
Just like this distinguished senator said, the kind of help given matters. If they are coming to provide technical support, fine. But to come as doctors to help us with infectious disease, no. And like he said, I'm not a doctor, but I'm aware that even the nature and the characteristic of the virus is different from country to country. The fact that it's called coronavirus does not mean what the way it manifests in Nigeria is the same way it manifests in China. There are a bit of differences. So, and I am aware that all over the world, Nigerian doctors and medical practitioners are not the best. There is a global shortage of medical doctors, and I read somewhere, and they advise that we should come to Nigeria to look for now, and for us to not to further compound this challenge. I'm aware that the Green Chamber is with the Senate on this agenda, and we are saying for now, we do not need this expertise, in quote. So I agree with the senator that that is not what we are told. If it's different from what we are told, we're saying no to it. And come to think of it, $100,000 equipment. That's all. That is what the hype. Why the hype? Why the hype? Why the hype? 100,000 worth of equipment. That's what CCC is bringing to Nigeria. And we're giving this publicity, this attention. I don't know. Maybe there's something more than what we know. As of now, that is the information available, and I think we do not need such.
But as it stands right now, do we, because a lot of people will say, the people who have debated this issue say, look, our friendship with China is rock solid in terms of what they have given us, and in the last 3-4 years, what we have gotten from China. And in this time, if they give if they stretch a hand of fellowship, that we need to embrace it. But on this particular case, Honorable, what is your thought? If they are giving as much as they have given in the past.
A hand of friendship that is detrimental to our health system and to the protocol that has been established to help us curtail this. Friendship is defined by the mutual agreed position. And I must say, and this is not even Chinese government per se, it's a company that made this offer. And nobody is saying we will not take if they're bringing equipment and whatever. But we do not need medical doctors. And come to think of it again, I think there are a lot of other things we might need. We need now, not that we might need, that I think they should focus more on. I don't know the nature of what they are bringing in. However, I will not, because I don't want to offend you, I want to be friendly with you, take risk that will jeopardize the destiny of my people. You can imagine, God forbid, you can imagine if we have this pandemic the way the world had predicted to happen in Nigeria. We have one of the biggest global refugee challenges. So I beg of you, diplomacy is good, but at the same time, is to protect your national interest should be your number one focus. And as the National Assembly member, I think that's why I'm elected to be in that house. And I believe that my colleagues share this position. And the executive senator here is the chairman of the committee, has emphatically stated here that that is the position of National Assembly.
All right. Honorable,
it's not about taking...
Yeah. I want us to go into the issue of the
Go ahead.
palliatives. These are some of the issues. Let me ask Senator. Some of his colleagues and the leadership of the National Assembly has said, look, they're not happy with the deployment of the social investment program. But from Mrs. Miriam Ways, she said it is not true that if some of the National Assembly members do not directly know those who are benefiting from these programs, that they do not exist. But the National Assembly is insisting that it does not cover the poorest of the poor in the country. Your thought, Senator Oloriegbe?
No, Sheung, I disagree with her entirely. As a senator representing Kwara Central, I've had about 3 times, making complaint directly about the social investment program in my constituency. Because I had information from my aides at home that there are some beneficiaries who get the benefit, who write in exotic cars, and they are beneficiaries of SIP, and they're on the list. I've made this complaint directly to the officers concerned, and the officer then told me, oh, they will conduct investigation and come back to me. So it is happening that it is not. Besides, even before the COVID-19, we've had a discussion at the National Assembly. That's why the leadership braced it out about our concern about the social investment program, how is it going. The other thing is that even during this COVID, we do respect when the Ministry of Humanitarian announced that they will be doing school feeding program through one way. I raised the issue with the leadership, personally myself as a medical doctor, that when children are at home, how do you want to do school feeding program? And somebody from the ministry, and I contacted a staff of the ministry directly, director, and he said, oh, they are not using it directly, they will use the cook. What they will do is they will use the principal that they will go and find the children and give them raw food. I said, how do you do that? Does every child has in Nigeria, where the people we represent? This, as wide as anything, I represent for most of my constituent urban area. People travel distance to go to a school. So how do we say social distancing lockdown? So it's not effective. We are concerned as representatives of people and people that appropriate money for that particular program.
Senator,
so there are things that need to change.
Yeah,
so I'm in support of my leadership, and based on personal experience, I think we are not in support of what Mariam has said. What she said, we are on the ground, we have our constituents are supposed to be the beneficiary, and this is what we are saying.
All right, Senator, we'll take a break, and when we come back, there are a few issues. We have the list of some of the promises and the palliatives that President Buhari has reeled out to the nation. We'll give you an understanding of what these are and whether Nigerians are getting them. That's our discussion when we come back from the break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So a lot of people who are staying at home and were expecting some palliatives from the government, as promised by President Buhari, already agitated. The National Assembly called the minister who is in charge, that's the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, to the National Assembly. And, well, let's take a look at some of those things that the president promised and that the federal government said that it will do in the process of this lockdown and to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians at this period. Some of the palliatives, 150 million stabilization fund to augment the FAC disbursement. That's the federal allocation given to state governments and local governments monthly. The shortfall in that $150 million have been applied for. 500 billion COVID-19 crisis intervention fund, 20,000 cash transfer to individuals, 3 months moratorium to some people who have gotten loans that their loans may not be paid back at some point. There's a farmer and trader money and farmer money scheme that will kick off. The CBN's credit relief for SMEs, about $136 million. There is going to be from 9% to 5% reduction of bank interest rate retroactively to March 1, the 1st of March, and also expected loan from IMF to the World Bank, and also a loan from the African Development Bank. These are some of the strategies that have been outlined by the federal government. But when the minister appeared before the National Assembly. Some of the things that Mrs. Uwais, who is in charge, is advisor to the president on social investment, has said that the National Assembly has said that the project got 2 trillion naira. She said it is untrue. Mrs. Uwais also said that the fact that the National Assembly leadership said that they do not know the beneficiaries, that it is regrettable and dangerous. She also said that the leadership of the Senate also stated that the NSIP information was not accessible to the National Assembly. The woman said it is untrue. Well, I spoke earlier with the minority leader of in the House of Reps, Honorable Undudi Elumelu, who also said that the minister and some of our team could not defend themselves. They could not provide the list of the beneficiaries. And tonight we're breaking some of these issues down for you. So 2 members of the National Assembly, Senator Ibrahim Oloriegbe and Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf. Thank you so much for coming in. Let me get your view, Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf. The woman who is in charge, Mrs. Uwais, said some of the allegations raised or issues raised by the leadership of the National Assembly, they are untrue.
I don't expect her to say anything contrary. But the fact remains that I represent a constituency by the grace of God for the past 8 years. And this project, this program started 2015 or 16. And I cannot till date identify the beneficiary. Of recent, I saw a document where a primary school was listed in my place. And under that, a number of participants or those who received this so-called palliative in that primary school is about 2,000 plus. How can 2,000 plus people in my constituency that have been represented for 8 years and I'm not aware? The other part of it is that the COVID-19 does not know boundaries. It's not restricted to those who are on this social policy before now. The hard hit today are those who go to work daily, who earn their living by working every day, who cannot step out and do their normal work, the artisans and what have you. How are they captured? And in the first day of stepping out, we were told that 3 billion naira had been disbursed. How? Where? Then you now find a group of 4 or 5 persons still gather somewhere and put cash on the table. I don't expect her to agree with us, but the fact is that let her present her facts. And let's verify.
Honorable Yusuf, apologies. Are you saying that the monies are being mismanaged or that they are not properly well handled?
It is one, mismanaged, grossly mismanaged, and the little ones that should get to the people, the percent I can beat my chest at the best, 30-40% get to the people. And they go to the wrong people. They get their cronies who put multiple names and get more than one. You have a situation where you have somebody who has a link and somewhere who will now put a name of himself, his cronies and some fictitious names to claim it. Subject this to some level of transparency. Let people be aware that this is, my mother is a bucket too, but she's not aware. A lot of people in the market are not aware of such things. But where I say, for this season, for this COVID-19 period, can you expand the scope? Can you allow individuals who normally do not belong to this category that are serious their need of help in this situation? So they show I interface with our people every day. I know the pressure we're going through. We know what people are going. People who never ask for anything daily are asking for the handout to survive right now. And all over the world, what is done, the equity is shown, sense of responsibility is displayed by government by making sure that there's transparency. How do you do this? Do you look at each state, look at the number of local government in the country. Now begin to look at the population, look at how you scale that. Don't ever imagine that there are people who are not in the social policy scheme before now do not deserve it. And you deliberately provide food, not those kind of things that we see on the social media being given
let me put this question into, we just have some few minutes left on the program. Senator, we understand that state governments are aware. Part of the statement released by Mrs. Uwais also says that the register is public. The National Assembly is aware the state governments are carried along. So how would you at this point say you do not know? that there are public hearing on this matter. Some of these things are a matter of public knowledge.
Shehu, on this particular issue, I've been in the last 10 months. I've visited that office and I've interacted with the people. In my constituency, I've not seen a list, and I don't know the beneficiary. And as I mentioned earlier, my aide conducted investigation, and they informed me that there are people that are benefiting who hitherto are well-to-do. There are people who uses Jeep are beneficiary of SIP. And I've raised this up with the office, with the Social Investment Office. They have not been able to come back to me. They said they will investigate. So we have said, let it be open, let it be transparent. Secondly, I want to say that 2 days ago, I called the minister. She has not responded to my call, based on the fact that when we had cases in Kwara of COVID-19, and I'm aware that one of the cities in the state will probably be locked down than before, that what special palliative, based on all these things that you roll out, can either the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs or PTA provide for my state? As at now, I have not got a response of what will go. In addition, the only thing that's going on in my state is what my state government is doing and what we have done as individuals.
Senator,
just like my colleague have said, every day now, everybody is calling us. The pressure is so much on those that are elected.
Because we're out of time, and I want us to spend the next few seconds before we close the program to look at what we can do. It's not as if that we are going into the situation. We are already in the situation. Let me begin with Honorable Tajuddin. In 30 seconds, if you can tell us what is the way out. Already the president has given the orders. We are into almost a week of the lockdown window. What can be done immediately to those who do not have food to eat tonight?
First of all, the idea of seeing everything as an opportunity to make money, as an opportunity to enrich oneself, must be disabused. And those in charge of this responsibility must realize that death is what is looking at the face. So to get this thing down to our people, we must democratize it, scale it down to local government, get what goes to each local government public, let it be known. Get everybody involved. Let traditional rulers involved. Get the opinion leaders involved. Don't give it to National Assembly. We're not saying give it to us. But let us have facts and figure so that we can supervise and be aware that this thing get to the people. That is what should be done.
Great. Let's allow Senator Oloriegbe to give his own thought on this one. We're going to close in 30 seconds, Honorable Senator Oloriegbe. People may not have food to eat tonight, and they have been locked down. They cannot work.
Let us transparently know what is going to each state, to each local government, and in fact to the world, because we have a political structure system. In fact, we can locate it down to polling units.
Polling units.
Because how did we get elected? We have polling units. Each polling unit will have some kind of leadership, but in distributing it, it should not be politicized because it's all Nigerians. So the religious leader, traditional leaders, and civil society organization, and this is the system that we are implementing in Kwara now through the state government. Of course, it's not enough because they also selected to say only the indigent and the old and so on. But we have people that are not old or indigent who are, just like the Honorable said, have to go out to earn their daily living. We need to expand and put this within the system. Senator, so the resources, the palliative, let it be more transparent and we know how it's distributed across the country. Finally, I want to say the Senate leaders, the Senate president mentioned that. He said there should be equity in the distribution. That this thing we should hear it, that every part of Nigeria, what goes there. And that's what I want to say we need to know. Thank you.
Senator Ibrahim Oloriegbe, Senator representing Kwara Central, and the Chairman, Senate Committee on Health. Thank you so much for coming on. And Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf, one of the leaders of the opposition in the House of Representatives representing Kogi State. Thank you so much, Honorable, for coming on tonight. Gentlemen, that's our show for tonight. And thank you so much for your thought. Well, that's our show tonight, everyone. We do hope that we might be able to speak to Mrs. Weiss or the minister to clear the air on some of these issues in the coming days. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm Sean Wakimale. Bye for now.